I recently did a video talking about the different languages and the ways to rebuke. Um, I must make you aware of that some people take advantage of these situations and are not what they supposed to be. By our fruits you shall know us and stuff like that. A lot of times when people come into your lives, they are just as sweet as they want to be. You don't even know that they're your enemy. This is a sneak attack. Women and men of God, prepare for that. They're as sweet as they want to be. They're kind to you. They're nurturing to you and your children. They're helping you and your children according to what you perceive. So you're releasing a lot of trust into these people, and it's placing you into a vulnerable place. Remember, just because everyone says Lord, Lord, they're not saved. And just because they don't say Lord, Lord, doesn't mean that they aren't saved either. Um, in these days and times, a lot of people are staying away from the church. A lot of people are staying away from being involved in the church or involved in religion because of many things that are happening today. Um, I remember it being said that the percentage of non believers or non people that are not involved in a religion has risen to approximately about 50%. So what that is to say is that they're not getting involved in anything. They're not Jehovah's Witness. They're not in Catholic. They're not anything. They're not involved in any form of religion and stuff like that. And just because certain people are involved in these different things does not mean that they are the right people, because it may be a reason why these people aren't involved in religion anymore, because of the wrong thing coming into the churches or into the temple, defiling the temple, and the people have pretty much turned aside and said that I'll study at home. And another thing that happens too, you start studying at home because of the temple and the house of God going under attack. So you start studying at home, and after a while you don't study at all and stuff like that. That's another thing that happens. Um, when the temple go up under attack, I understand you not wanting to stay there up under that type of attack, because a lot of times you pick up bad habits. The wrong thing comes in. And when I say the wrong thing comes in, a lot of illness and bad manners and bad behavior comes in, especially because of bitterness and things that are taking place. I remember one time telling my students in school, I told them, I said, if you are angry, you have a reason. And no one understood that. Well, because a lot of times people say, oh, these are children and they're angry without reason. They have no reason to be angry. We don't know what went on, we don't know what happened. Everyone has a reason to be angry. If you're angry and you're upset about something that was blocked, that hasn't been resolved, but basically been blocked and erased from your memory or erased from you, and right now you don't have the understanding. All you know right now, I'm angry, I'm upset, and I need to get it out. And I can't remember what it is, I can't remember how it is, but I need to get it out. That's all the more reasons why it's not appropriate to invite the wrong people into your life. It's not appropriate to invite the wrong people around you. It's not appropriate to have the wrong people in your circle. So you have to be careful. A lot of people come along, they're good people. Hey, I'm here for you and stuff like that, until they get you where they want you to be at. Until you're in their trap and their spider web the way they want you to be. They're good people. So you have to be careful, people of God. No, I understand. I can give you a plate of food, but that doesn't mean that I got to sit up there and I got to be your bestie, because I need to fellowship with people of like mindedness like me. that are on a certain path. I can be good to you, but that doesn't mean that I have to stay there going through that. I know people that'll use your children against you. They'll remove your children from you, and they'll want you to stay there with the child. And of course you want to, or whatever. You're sitting there and you're like, "Oh no, sweetheart, don't be doing this," or whatever the case may be, and stuff like that. Remind you, we serve a mighty God. So at some point, we have to learn to release and just say, "I'm putting it in God's hands. I'm no longer going to touch it," especially if you're constantly being burnt by it, because that is a manipulation and a trick of the devil. Um, when you're there, if this is really God's will for healing to take place, it's going to take place. And if it's not, sometimes we have to let it go and let it stay in an ill state for a while. Eventually, God will sit up there and reunite you with whatever's yours. But you cannot stay there and constantly keep being abused and hurt because you're saying, "These are my children," or "This is my family," or "This is this," or "This is that." Sometimes we have to let go and let God deal with many different issues that are plaguing us, that are inappropriate, because sometimes the devil has many faces, and he'll even take on the face of family, friends, children. He will take on the face of so many different things, till it's ridiculous. You would sit up there and you would look at it and you would be like, all of this, and it's not making sense. So remember, this is a trick of the devil. The devil will sit up there and he'll bring anything to your door and tell you to, you know, indulge in it. You're busy trying to pacify your children or make your children feel better about a situation and stuff like that. And sometimes the situation you're trying to make your kids feel better about, God is just saying, "Just put it in my hands. I'll deal with it. Let it go. Just let it go." And I'll take it from there, as the because you haven't committed any offense against your children. You haven't committed any offense against your family. Sometimes you may walk in your family's house, and as soon as you walk in, you haven't said anything wrong to them, haven't done anything wrong to them, and they're ready to fight with you and go up under attack. That is not your family. That is not God's will. That is not what it's supposed to be like. You're not supposed to be assaulted. You're not supposed to be abused or anything. It's different when you have done something wrong. And when you have done something wrong to your family, all you do is apologize for it and move forth. But we do know, with every offense that we commit, that there are wounds that take place, whether they're intentional or unintentional. There's two sides to hurt. So for me, I just have to inform you, because a person is using a different language to rebuke something does not mean that that person isn't a part of what they call themselves rebuking. See, the devil will use many tactics. I can't even stress that enough. So some of the tactics that's being used, you may not even completely understand all of it. But just know that there are several tactics being used just to get into your house. Be careful who you even invite into your house. Like, certain things shouldn't even be coming to your door. You invite your friend in your house, and then that night you can't even sleep the whole night. Or you invite your family member in your house, and that night you can't sleep the whole night because it's a war going on even when you're asleep, because your spirit ain't agreeing with certain things that are taking place and certain things that are happening. So you're in your sleep, and you're going through a war. You're going through a spiritual attack. You're going through all out war, and you still sleep. You wake up next morning tired, frustrated, upset, because you done fought all night and didn't even know you were fighting all night. You have been in all out warfare and did not even know you were in warfare. You was in an unconscious state where you couldn't even move, and you was probably even being abused, hurt, or whatever the case may be. So you waking up with black eyes that they're calling stars, and you're like, I haven't done anything. You've been in war the whole night without even knowing. So I say that to say be careful who you allow around you in your atmosphere. Everything is not of God. What is of God because he created it, but it's not for God and it's not for his people.